I'm fine. That's what she said. Just 3 days before she packed her things and left. You thought everything was okay. You gave her space. You didn't push. And still, she walked away without warning, without closure. If you're a man over Hannah Kant, you've probably lived through something like this. Not your first heartbreak, but this time, it cuts deeper, because at our age, you're not just looking for love, you're looking for truth. Here's what you need to know. There are 5 questions women rarely answer honestly. Not because they're cruel, but because the truth feels more dangerous than the lie. And unless you understand what's really going on underneath their answers, you'll keep repeating the same heartbreak in different bodies. You see, when a woman tells you, "I'm fine," but her heart is already halfway out the door, that's not the moment she started pulling away. It started long before that, in quiet conversations, in hidden thoughts, in answers that felt a little too rehearsed. Because the most dangerous truths aren't shouted, they're softened, filtered, tailored for your comfort. And it begins with the question every man asks, but no woman ever answers honestly. How many men have you slept with? You think you want the truth, but what you're really asking is, can I trust your past, not to haunt my present? Here's what most men don't realize. She's not just answering a number. She's answering a fear. Your fear. So she does the math backwards, subtracts the ones who didn't count, rounds down for safety, and gives you a number that feels respectable. You hear it. You nod. You feel safe. But deep down, you know. And that quiet discomfort, that whisper in your gut, that's where the truth lives. Question 1. How many men have you slept with? Every serious boyfriend I've ever had has asked me that question, but none of them ever got the real answer. My actual number is 23. The highest number I've ever said out loud is 8. And that gap between the truth and what I told them, that should tell you everything you need to know about how women answer this question. See, we don't lie because we're malicious. We lie because we know what the truth does to you. It's not about facts. It's about how those facts make you feel. So, we do the math backwards. We factor in your personality. We factor in your personality, your insecurities, your experience, your emotional maturity. Then we pick a number, not that reflects reality, but one that keeps the relationship intact. For more conservative men, we say 3, maybe 5. Just the serious relationships, the spring break hookups, the one-time flings, the mistakes we buried. They don't count, not out loud. For more open-minded guys, maybe we stretch it to 10 or 12. Throw in a few casual encounters to look honest, but never everything, never all of it. Why? Because we've learned this. You say you want honesty, but the full truth would haunt you. You'd replay it in your head. You'd question every moment of intimacy. You'd stop feeling special. So instead of risking that spiral, we offer a version of the truth that you can live with. And we convince ourselves that it's kindness, that we're protecting you, that we're protecting us. We also rationalize what counts. If it happened when we were drunk, it doesn't count. If it happened just once, it doesn't count. If it was an on-again, off-again mess, it only counts as 1. And when you ask us, we don't just give a number. We flip the script. We ask, why does it matter? We say, that's in the past. We accuse you of being insecure while carefully calculating the safest lie we can tell. Here's the brutal truth. If we hesitate, if we dodge, if we deflect, you're not getting the full picture. Want a more accurate guess? Take whatever number she gives you and multiply it by 2.5. It's not scientific, but it's closer to the truth than you think. And the women who answer right away with complete confidence, they're either very inexperienced or they've rehearsed their story so many times they believe it themselves. We know this erodes trust. We know it creates cracks in the foundation, but we've collectively decided that telling the truth might crack it worse. So we manage your emotions with a number, instead of confronting the discomfort with honesty. And that's just about our past. The next question is about our present, and it's even more dangerous. But the past is just the beginning. It's what she's already lived through. What really unsettles you is what she's thinking now, while she's next to you, while she's texting someone, while she says, he's just a friend. Because if a number from her past can shake your trust, a connection in her present can destroy it. And the next question? It taps into a fear every man carries. The fear that she's emotionally somewhere else. Second question hits the core of every man's territorial instincts. And we know it. That's exactly why we'll never give you the honest answer that would make you lose sleep. Are you attracted to any of your male friends? I've had intimate thoughts about at least 4 of my current male friends. When my boyfriend asks if I'm attracted to any of them, I always respond with the most innocent expression I can manage, while denying any attraction whatsoever. The uncomfortable truth is, we are attracted to some of our male friends. We've imagined intimacy scenarios with them. We've wondered what it would be like to be with them instead of you. Some of these friendships exist because of the underlying attraction, and we maintain them as backup options for our emotional and potentially physical future. We lie about this because an honest answer would require you to accept an impossible situation. You'd want us to cut contact with half our social circle. It would poison every future interaction you have with these men. You'd analyze every text message, every laugh, every inside joke, every time we defend them, or make plans to see them. Our internal reality is far more complex than we'll ever admit. That guy friend? He's attractive, successful, funny, and has made it clear he's interested. Do we think about what would happen if we were single? Of course. Do we enjoy the attention and the subtle flirtation? Absolutely. Will we ever admit that to you? Never. We've perfected the art of deflecting this inquiry. We respond with phrases like, "I've never thought of him that way. He's like a brother." Or, "We're just friends. You're being paranoid." We flip the script to make your concern seem unreasonable, rather than addressing the legitimate basis for your worry. The female strategy is sophisticated. We keep attractive male friends as backup options, while maintaining plausible deniability about our intentions. We use your trust as permission to continue questionable relationships. We frame your natural protective instincts as jealousy and insecurity. We maintain these friendships through careful boundary management that creates the appearance of innocence while preserving the underlying attraction. We avoid being alone with them when you're around, but seek private conversations when you're not. We downplay their attractiveness when talking to you, but dress carefully when we know we'll see them. The reality is, if we had zero attraction to our male friends, we'd have no problem creating clear boundaries with them. Our resistance to your concerns is your answer. Our defensiveness about maintaining these relationships tells you everything you need to know about their true nature. We know that admitting attraction to our male friends would fundamentally change how you view our loyalty and commitment, so we protect the comfortable fiction that allows us to maintain these relationships while keeping you secure in your position. But male friends are just potential threats. The next question reveals something even more dangerous: the truth about our emotional state right now. Question number 3. Are you happy in our relationship? This might be the most dangerous question you can ask a woman, because our honest answer could end everything you think you're building together. I've told 3 different boyfriends that I was happy when I was already planning my exit strategy. We don't just lie about our current happiness, we lie about our future intentions, our level of satisfaction, and our commitment to making things work. This question terrifies us, because admitting unhappiness means we have to do something about it. It opens a conversation we're not ready to have. It forces us to confront our own emotional confusion and dissatisfaction. It might trigger changes we don't want to make yet, or demands for effort we're not willing to give. We operate on different levels of dishonesty when answering this question. When we say, "I'm perfectly happy," it usually means we have major problems we're hiding from you. "I'm mostly happy" translates to serious doubts we're not sharing. "I'm happy enough" means we're already emotionally checking out. When we admit to having some concerns, we already have one foot out the door. The female psychology behind this deception is complex. We don't just lie to you, we lie to ourselves. It's easier to pretend everything is fine than to face the emotional work of fixing serious problems or ending relationships that no longer serve us. What we're really thinking when you ask this question is far removed from our verbal responses. We're comparing you to other options constantly. We're wondering if we settled too quickly, or if this is actually the life we want. We're fantasizing about different scenarios, different partners, different futures that don't include you. We manage your perception of our happiness through careful performance. We post about our relationship on social media to create the appearance of contentment. We talk about future plans we have no intention of keeping. We fake enthusiasm for activities and conversations that actually bore us. We hide our emotional distance behind busy schedules and external stresses. When we finally admit we're unhappy, we've usually been feeling this way for months, or even years. By the time we're ready to discuss relationship problems, we've already emotionally moved on. The conversation about our happiness is often the beginning of the end, not an opportunity for renewal. We start expressing dissatisfaction only when we're ready to leave, or when we've found something better. We use your question about our happiness as an opening to begin the narrative that will justify our eventual departure. We've already written the story of why this relationship didn't work. We're just waiting for the right time to share it. The warning signs are there, if you know how to read them. We delay our responses when you ask about happiness. We give generic answers that could apply to any relationship. We deflect to talk about external stressors instead of relationship satisfaction. We compare your relationship to others constantly, always finding you lacking in the comparison. But questioning our happiness in the present is nothing compared to the next question, because the next one forces us to reveal truths about our loyalty that we will protect at all costs. Question number 4. Have you ever emotionally cheated? This question hits too close to the truth, because emotional cheating is how most affairs actually start. And we know that our honest answer would make you question every friendship, every conversation, and every private moment we've ever had. I've emotionally cheated in every serious relationship I've been in. Deep conversations with other men, sharing problems I didn't share with my boyfriend, developing feelings I never acted on. Physically, when asked directly, I've always denied it completely. We'll never admit to emotional cheating because it feels worse to men than physical cheating. It reveals that our hearts and minds were elsewhere while we were pretending to be committed to you. It destroys trust in our female friendships and work relationships. It proves that affairs don't just happen, they develop over time, through deliberate emotional investment in other people. Our definition of emotional cheating differs dramatically from yours. You think emotional cheating is sharing intimate thoughts with other men. We think it only counts if we act on those feelings physically. You consider it cheating when we seek emotional support elsewhere. We consider it friendship until something sexual happens. Emotional affairs begin with innocent conversations that gradually become more personal and intimate. He listens better than you do. He understands problems you don't relate to. He makes us feel seen in ways we'd forgotten were possible. The emotional connection develops so gradually that we can rationalize each step as harmless friendship. Our justification process is sophisticated. We tell ourselves, we're just friends talking about life. He gives good advice about work problems. We can't help it if he understands us better than our partners do. Nothing physical has happened, so nothing wrong is occurring. These rationalizations allow us to maintain emotional affairs while preserving our self-image as faithful partners. What we hide from you is the full scope of our emotional investment in these relationships. We have late-night text conversations that feel more intimate than romantic interactions with you. We share relationship problems with other men instead of working through them with you. We look forward to conversations with specific men more than we anticipate talks with you. We compare you unfavorably to men who get us better. We wonder why you can't be more like them. We fantasize about what relationships with them would be like. We develop emotional dependence on their attention and validation while taking yours for granted. Our deflection strategies are well practiced. We respond with complete denial and often turn the question back on you. We express disbelief that you would accuse us of such behavior. We make your question seem paranoid and hurtful, rather than addressing the legitimate concerns behind it. Here's the truth about our male friends. Every man in our life started as someone we found attractive or interesting in some way. We don't maintain friendships with men we have zero attraction to. The emotional connection exists because the potential for more exists, even if we never intend to act on it. If we get angry, instead of providing reassurance when you ask this question, we're protecting something important to us. An innocent woman welcomes the opportunity to ease your concerns about her loyalty and emotional investment, but emotional cheating is still something we can rationalize. as innocent. The final question reveals the one truth that would destroy not just our relationship, but our entire self-image. Question number 5. Do you still think about your ex? This is the question that cuts to the core of every woman's secret emotional life. Because the truth is, we never fully get over men who marked us deeply, and admitting that would shatter the fantasy of your unique importance in our lives. I think about my ex-boyfriend at least once a week, sometimes during intimate moments with my current partner. I've never admitted this to anyone, and the shame of it makes me lie more convincingly every time I'm asked. The uncomfortable female truth is, we do still think about our exes, especially the ones who got away. Some exes remain emotional benchmarks for all future relationships. We compare your performance, your personality, your potential to theirs. Certain exes retain a permanent place in our fantasy life. Regardless of our current relationship status, this question represents relationship suicide because it reveals that you're not the only man in our emotional world. It proves that our past still influences our present in ways that quietly diminish your importance. It destroys the illusion that you're our greatest love story and opens questions about our true commitment and satisfaction. We think about different exes for different reasons. The one who got away makes us wonder what life would have been like if circumstances had been different. The best sexual partner makes us miss physical connections we may never experience again. The one who understood us emotionally makes us long for that specific type of connection. The life we almost had makes us question our current choice. We think about them during arguments with you, wondering if they would handle situations better. We remember them during boring routine moments, recalling the excitement we felt back then. Sometimes, we think about them during intimate moments, comparing physical experiences. We wonder about their current lives. When we see their updates on social media, our internal justification for these thoughts, thinking isn't cheating. Everyone has a past. These are just memories, not current intentions. We convince ourselves these thoughts don't affect our current relationships, even when they clearly do. We hide these thoughts carefully. We delete our search history. ND74. We delete our search history after looking them up online. We never mention when we run into them or hear about them through mutual friends. We pretend we don't remember details about our past relationships. We act like they no longer exist in our emotional landscape, while privately maintaining vivid memories of our time together. Our deflection responses are automatic. Why would I think about someone from the past? You're the only man I think about now. That relationship ended for a reason. We make you feel insecure for asking about people who supposedly don't matter anymore. The female psychology behind this deception is our ability to compartmentalize our emotional experiences. We can genuinely love you while maintaining emotional connections to past relationships, but admitting that would make you feel like you're competing with ghosts, and that would fundamentally change the dynamic of our relationship. Now that you know, we'll never answer these questions honestly. Here's how to protect yourself from emotional manipulation while still maintaining your relationship. Watch our behavior, not our words. Pay attention to how we act around male friends versus how we describe those relationships. Notice whether our actions match our claims about relationship satisfaction. Observe if our emotional investment matches the happiness we say we feel. The man who stops asking these questions and starts watching our behavior becomes immediately more attractive. It shows you're not desperate for our validation of your place in the relationship. Don't use these questions as relationship tests. We know they're traps, and asking them doesn't reveal truth. It reveals insecurity, and female psychology loses respect for men who need constant reassurance through interrogation. Focus on what you can control. Work on your own attractiveness, your value as a partner. Maintain standards for how you're treated. Be willing to walk away if behavior doesn't match words. Build a life that doesn't depend on our validation for your self-worth. I just destroyed the foundation of trust that every relationship is built on. But here's the thing, that foundation was already cracked. I just showed you where to look. You can never unknow what I just told you. Every conversation you have from now on, you'll remember these 5 questions, and wonder what else we're not telling you. And honestly, you should wonder. Stop expecting honesty from questions that have never received honest answers. Start building relationships based on actions, not words. Start trusting your instincts, not our explanations. If this opened your eyes to truths you've been sensing but couldn't name, hit subscribe. Share this with one man who needs to hear it. But be ready for the conversations it will start. Comment below if you've asked these questions and heard the answers I just described. Let's see how many men recognize these patterns.